Hey, what's up? It's Autumn, and this is Just a Thought. What's up? Welcome back. I'm super excited today, as I always am, because I have someone that I have personally been looking forward to engaging with. I know her, but today I feel like I'm like really getting ready to know her. And so we're going to take that journey together. I am fully confident that she is going to be dropping some gems, some perspectives, some insight that is about to change how we look at so many things. And when I say that she is got her fingers in a lot of different spaces that really just help to grow you as a person and in relationships and in the community and just so many things. I'm like, girl, I was looking at her bio, which I'm getting ready to read to you, and was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this in an hour. I don't know. I feel like this is gonna have to be a part 2, a part 3, or part 4, and y'all gonna see what I'm talking about as soon as we get into this conversation. So no pressure. She's over here like, what? Wait a minute. And no pressure. She's gonna. I know that she's gonna bring her full and just authentic and complete self. And she's so magnetic and engaging that it's just hard not to love her and to be drawn to her. And again, y'all about to find that out in a minute. But now that I done like hyped it up, it got y'all on the edge of your seat. Let me let you know who today's guest is. So today we're going to talk to LaVantė Dorsey. She is a licensed clinical social worker and the founder of LaVantė in Dorsey and Associates. See, there's nothing like arriving, like, or saying that you arrived, that you have your name on the building. You have your name on the stuff. You didn't even pick like a side name or like, let me get in Chat GPT and let it come up with something. You like, no, my name is on this front and center. That's what I'm talking about. A private mental health practice based in Newark, Delaware. With over a decade of experience in social work, she specializes in providing therapeutic, motivational, and goal-oriented services focused on mental health, self-care, empowerment for women, youth, and families. Beyond her clinical practice, she is a prominent motivational speaker. I can attest to that. I done sat underneath her motivation, and it is something to behold, okay? Creator of The Purpose Experience, a daily morning broadcast designed to encourage viewers to reach their goals. LaVantė is recognized for her work in reducing mental health stigma, we need that, and has been honored as one of Delaware's top 10 inspiring women. And she is a Leadership Delaware class of 2025 alum. We sisters in that. We sisters in that. And if that wasn't enough, if she wasn't doing enough, if she wasn't killing it enough, she has also recently become a newly published author of her own book, Crushed After a Breakup, which focuses on emotional healing and growth after heartbreak, which we all need a little bit of that, right? We need a little bit of that. And we're going to get into that today. LaVantė, honey, listen, welcome.
Hi. I'm so excited to be here.
Can you tell that I'm glad to see you?
I can tell. It's funny, when you were reading the bio, I had like this awkward, weird deja vu moment, but I'm like, we've never done this before, but it felt so real. So
That's God. That's God. That's God. That's what that is. He was like, you at the right place at the right time with the right person. Hey, so I know this conversation is going to be all that. Today, there's so many things that I want to get into with you, but I think the first is like, let's start a little bit just about your practice and how you got there, what you're doing, and the why behind that.
Yes. So I always knew that helping people feel better was a part of what I wanted to do. Well, at first I wanted to drive ambulances, if I can be honest, but that didn't work out too well. So that was that UD. I decided, okay, you definitely want to be able to talk to people when they're in their toughest moments and help them just to have a bit of a clearer thought. And so I finished my master's in social work at University of Pennsylvania, and I came back to Delaware because I did not like living in Philly. Sorry, Philadelphia people. But I came back to Delaware and went in.
No shame. No shame.
Now. And went into, can you see me? And then I began working under the great Lisa Savage Phillips. She has the Center for Child Development, which is one of the largest mental health practices here in Delaware, owned by an African American female. So that was amazing and still is amazing mentorship. So powerful. And because God truly places you around those people you should be around. And a lot of
Absolutely.
times we think someone is competition or we don't want to give them the secret
Mm,
sauce. That she did not
mm,
view it that way. And she has taught me to be the exact same way. So even while I was still at her practice and I told her I want to branch off and have my own practice and have my own free creativity, she said, go ahead. And you can still use your space here to begin seeing clients under for your practice. Who does that?
see,
Who does that?
see, come
That's
on,
how we
come
gotta
on.
be. Everybody talks about
That's how we got to be.
sisterhood, but that is the
Yeah.
true definition of it, where you're not worried about someone taking your shine and you believe in abundance and all that's out there. And so that was the
Mm,
beginning of my private practice journey. It was funny. It started in 2019 and then the pandemic hit. However, it was an amazing, seamless transition, and we were able to serve
yeah.
people in one of the most challenging times in the world. And
Right.
yes,
What the most needed, probably, quite
yeah,
honestly.
absolutely. We were able
Yeah.
to switch right to virtual and have continuous sessions with, it was predominantly women at that time. We do see men and youth now, but helping Delawareans through those life stressors, through that
Yeah.
heartbreak, through job uncertainty, through everything.
Right.
So it's been a fun journey. I'm learning every day.
Right? Well, okay, so you said a couple things that's when I went like, oh, my face went like this because I went, did you know that I was a paramedic for 18
I
years?
kind of knew. I picked up on it. You were talking about something at LDI graduation. I picked it up, but that's what I wanted to do. I'm trying to tell you. I feel.
So listen, so my heart is always big for people who want to get in the public safety space and just give back in that way. It's such a the people that operate in, and I'm not saying it just because it was me. The people that operate in that space are just magical
Yeah.
humans. Shout
Yeah.
out, right? Shout out to
Yes.
everyone who is serving the public. Quite honestly, listen, in any capacity, because the public can be
Yes.
rough. But yeah, so I love that that was your heart from the beginning, and then. Listen, I'm also a Dallas Cowboy fan, so Philly ain't my
Oh,
spot either. Um, we giving them all the shade today. So there's that. Yeah. Did you find, and this is kind of going off on the side for just a
mhm.
second, but it's really interesting. You talked about how you came into you started your practice during the pandemic and how that shift needed to be made. And so many people saw the pandemic as a negative or like a, you know what I mean? Oh my God, this was the worst time that we experienced. And so many people like yourself that were entering into something new that could have seen it as like, oh my, this is a horrible
Mhm.
time, ended up maybe in some ways being like the best
What?
time to start. Yeah.
It was. I mean, of course, it was horrible in its own right with the passing of a lot of
Right.
people and people having to
Yeah.
process through grief and loneliness and depression. However, it was amazing to be used as a vessel during that time and a resource and to
Yeah.
see the gift and the craft that God has given me to be able to help other people. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
it was a very awesome time.
Right, right, right. And I think I just did a podcast with Ivan and he that was really centered around pain to progress,
Mm,
pain to purpose, and how one of the things that we really talked about is how you have a choice in that,
yeah,
right? Like things are going to happen. Life is going life. You
yeah,
can't that part you have no control over. But what you do with it, you do have control over and you can turn something that was a negative into an absolute where you got your name on the door. You can
absolutely.
do that.
It was because of, and it was an interesting journey because during in the pandemic, it seems like it was just yesterday, but during that time frame is when I got married, when I had my son. And so in going through those trials and tribulations, those struggles, I was able to use it as my story as I became the 2024 Minority Owned Business of the Year for the Small Business Association.
Hey,
So it all just came together.
she was doing all of the stuff. She was doing all the things. Let me ask you this. So you touched on it a little bit, which I think is so key and important, right? It's that you had this mentor, you had this champion, you had someone that supported you. Entrepreneurship is so difficult, right? To take that
Yes.
leap, to go from being under somebody else's umbrella to under your own. How important was that to you feeling confident to be able to step out on your own? How that
No,
support?
absolutely. And it was that kind of certainty of if I don't know, I know someone else who's already gone through the journey that can give me some
Mm.
guidance and answers, or just the ear to hear. Like, I get you're frustrated. I hear it's been challenging. It's going to happen. You have to keep pushing. And so even now, I'm shocked because I guess now people see me as that person. And so they call me. I had someone send me a whole list of questions. I was like, sure, I'll answer, because you have to, give back with others. And it's just the right thing to do, is to help out
It is
your
the right
fellow
thing to do.
neighbor.
Right, right. Well, and we're blessed to be a blessing. I
Mhm.
think the more that you give away, the more that you get, right? That it shows that you are a vessel that can be poured
Yes.
through. And so, like, the more I empty out, I have room to receive more. The more I empty out. And so I think that that's really people who hoard information, it's like a weird flex to me. Like, what are you doing?
And
Like,
so, oh, I'm so glad. So this past weekend, I took my annual self-care weekend. Well, it's quarterly now. I already have the next one scheduled. And I always say a prayer: God, whatever it is you have for me during this weekend, my heart is open, my ears are open to hear. And I was just gonna just hang out, have fun, but I went to my favorite bookstore, Mahogany Books at Oxon Hill at the harbor. And I didn't want a
okay.
book, but I saw a book that said Audacious, and I don't have it upstairs with me right now. But it's an amazing book by Marty McDonald, and she talks about just that idea of abundance and how oftentimes we
Mm,
feel in this world that there's limited resources, limited opportunity. And so when it comes along, we have to hold it tight to us. We can't help our fellow person because it's all about us. That's the mindset we have.
mm.
But in the book, it's like, no, first off, what God do you serve that you think that all the
Come on. Come on.
And it's funny because I had to really reflect and tune in with myself, because I work hard to have that
Yeah.
mindset of help the other person. And then there's this little tinge where the enemy comes in and like, no, they stealing your shine. And it's like, no, what is for me is for me. And you have to keep reminding yourself of that, and that God will, and your gifts and your purpose, there will always be a room for it. And there's plenty resources for everyone.
Right. No, 100%. That's this the scarcity mentality. First, I
Yes.
love the name of
Oh my
that
gosh,
book,
I do
but
have it.
it's this. Oh, okay, it's the scarcity mentality. There you go. I'm gonna have to pick that up because I'm sure it's on Audible. That's my thing right now because I'm so busy. I'm like, let me just plug this in and listen while I do. But this idea like that there's not enough to go around, and it's like there's more than enough
Yes.
to go around. There's more than enough problems to be
Yes.
solved. There's more than enough resources that are moving and circulating in the
Yes.
world. Like there is no end. We're not gonna get to the end of the road and be like, that's it. Ain't no more dollars left. Ain't no more opportunities left. Like there's always
I think,
something. So
yeah, I think kind of nuance there is, do you have the fight and the will to push forward to find the opportunities? Because it can
mm,
be with as many no's as you get, and with what
yeah,
feels like people turning their backs or being tight-lipped and not giving you the keys or
yeah,
whatever, it can feel kind of defeating. But do you have that power within you to say, no, I know it's out there, I have to keep pushing? I think that's the key.
yeah, absolutely. And I know, and your mentor, she now has the opportunity to has she has a real tangible evidence. She has tangible evidence of what her spirit and her
Yes.
generosity and her kindness can look like, right? In you
Yes.
and all of the amazing things that you're doing and how that has multiplied. Whatever she's doing herself is now tenfold
Totally that.
because her pouring into you allows you to serve even more
Mhm.
people. And people just need to look at it,
Yes.
in that just a shift, just
Just a
a slight
shift.
shift. Just yeah, just a small one. Don't be so
No,
greedy.
no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't be a
Don't
hoarder.
do it.
So there seems to be a sort of a running theme for you through all of the work that you're doing, right? And what is that rooted in? Because you said I've always wanted to help people.
Yeah, so
What is that rooted in? She
My
said,
first thought was,
girl,
look,
listen.
the Lord is my guidance
Okay.
for everything. But the original, when I realized I wanted to be a helper, I had to be in my teenage years, and I never forget it. We were at Hershey Park on a church trip, where the church taking places to have fun. And we got a call that my younger cousin had just been arrested for armed robbery. And
Oh
it
my
was
goodness.
like, whoa, what did we miss here? What didn't we say? What
Yeah.
was he feeling? What was he dealing with? Were the questions that ran through my mind at that young age. And that's the moment I knew, like, no, like, how many people have these experiences where they make a poor decision because they just weren't heard or someone didn't see them or talk to them. And so that's what I knew
Yeah.
from that point. I started heading in that direction. So I would say that's what it was
Okay.
rooted in. That's where it was birthed. And then it just continued to take a light from there. I remember my aunt, the late Pastor Lottie Lee Davis, who was an amazing pillar in Wilmington and the state of Delaware in general, had me run my first after school program as a director. I was fresh out of college. And I
Hey.
was like, don't quite know how to do it, but I'm doing it. And when I tell you that was the most rewarding experience working with the
Yeah.
teenagers, showing them some
Yeah.
world, showing them a difference in just how you can live and be and think and achieve. So yes, it's all grounded in all those pieces of the puzzle that have come together.
I love that. I love that. You mentioned something about, and I just, to kind of bring this holistic full circle here, is that you are scheduling this self care for
Oh yeah.
yourself. It sounded like you say in like a vacation, right? But I
Yeah.
love the terminology that you're using. She said it's self care, which is something that I know that you really advocate for. But we live in this world where everybody feels like they gotta be hustling, they gotta be grinding, they gotta be, you know what I mean? Like if you're not pushing towards the next thing, if you're not out here getting it and being at the stuff and talking to the people and making the connections and you know what I mean, all of that, that you're gonna miss something, that something is not gonna happen for you. How what's a way,
Yeah.
right? And from your
Yeah.
perspective and your insight that people can balance that out to be able to see that it is not a weakness. It is not, you're not going to miss anything, right? This ain't no
Yes.
FOMO, but that this is actually a part of the play. Like you need this in order to really
Yes, I
execute.
absolutely love this question because I once subscribed to that. Like hustle hard.
Yeah.
It was everywhere. When you looked at social media,
Right.
get to it, hustle hard, grind hard. It's like I even look back. You know how Facebook tells you your old post you posted 4 years ago? I'd be like, why did I say that? That was not smart. No, no, no days off is what my post said.
Oh my God.
It's dumb. It so dumb. People don't subscribe to that. And what happened was, in believing that and trying to get to every opportunity and doing the most 24/7, one, I talk about it in the book, work became my marriage. And so that foreshadowed
Mm,
how I could show up in that way. And as well as I burned out, like I crashed. So my first true
yeah.
self-care weekend, and I always go to the harbor because I love it there. My first
Okay.
self-care weekend, I literally just couldn't anymore. Like I hit a wall
Mm,
and I was done. And
yeah.
I needed to cut
Yeah.
off everything. I literally sent out a message to everyone. I am going away. Do not text me. My child is taken care of. If it's an emergency, y'all handle it. I just need silent time. And
Okay.
when I tell you it was the most beautiful rest in God that I could have gotten, it was amazing.
Wow. Wow. That's so good. And I think that the the reason why it's so good is because for a couple of reasons. I'm a medicine is background, so I love anatomy and physiology and just the study of the body, just all of those things. And your body is going to can only go so
Yeah.
far, right?
Mhm.
And will 100% get to the end of itself and be like, that's it, that's enough,
Yeah.
right? And so, then we have a choice there of whether we can listen to it or not. If we don't listen to it, it's going to show up in strokes, heart attacks, all the other stuff. But you said it took you to like, I can't take no more till you get to that place. Now, hopefully we can stop that mentality where we're
Yes.
not waiting until we get to we can't take no more, but that we are intentional about interjecting breaks so that we don't have to get to that point
Yeah.
is so good.
Absolutely. And for me, it was giving myself real cutoff times every day to not continue
Mm.
to do work.
Mm,
Not only so
that's
I could,
good.
yeah, not only so I could rest, but so that I could be quality time as a mother as well.
Yeah.
And including more fun moments. Cause I think when you're really in that kind of mindset of I gotta achieve, I gotta do, I gotta meet these deadlines and these goals, you forget to have fun in life. And that's boring.
Yeah.
So adding that in, and then it was funny. I was on this last self care weekend was a little more nerve wracking because we had the snowstorm. But I said no, I'm pressing
Yeah.
on. I'm still going because I need it. And by the time I was on the last day, I looked at my calendar. I said, okay, when are we scheduling the next one? So it was already booked and paid for and ready to.
And ready to go.
And I like it because it gives me kind of that push as I go along. And I know that I'm intentionally setting time for myself and for my quiet
Yeah.
time with God. And what I really like about that is it's an intentional recharge. It's kind of like how in relationships you should have like meetings, like the State of the Union for the relationship.
Yeah.
It's my
Yeah.
quarterly, because I do it daily too, but my quarterly State of the Union with God, where I really say, all right, am I on the right path for what you told me to do? Because I know you said I should do this and tackle this. Well, am I doing right, God? And it's amazing.
Listen, not a State of the Union with the Lord. I love that. That's what I'm about to. The state of the state, Lord, where are we? I love that. You know what? It's so funny. So I'm on my own, journey. There's a lot of shift that has happened in my life, literally since November. Well,
Yes.
2025, but really like took off
Yes.
in November and into now where I have stepped out into, well, I say stepped out. Look, sometimes God, forces you into some things, but I'm going to choose to say I have stepped out
Okay.
into a space of entrepreneurship, into a space of like doing things that I've always wanted to do. And one of the benefits of it,
Yeah.
right? One of the benefits of it is that I have been able to be intentional about scheduling time with God for an hour in the morning. I
Wow.
can literally, now that I manage my own calendar, my
Yes.
calendar is not managed by somebody else.
Yes.
Um, that I can literally be like, and it has been a game changer,
Yes.
just being able to refocus myself. And, before I be like, all right, God, you see me, we out here, let's do the things, right? And because you just hustling and moving. But now I'm like, okay, let me get centered and focused and let me listen. So that's really good. And listen, regardless of where people are in their spiritual journey, right? Whether you
Mhm.
believe in God, whether you don't, whether you're trying to figure it out, whether he's a distant friend or a near friend, like whatever that looks like for you. I think that the takeaway would be just making time to get centered,
Yes.
whatever that looks like for you
Yes.
is what's important.
Yes. And I
Yeah.
think you mentioned an important part too, because a lot of people say, well, you're an entrepreneur, so you can set your schedule. I don't have it that easy. And I think that's where we have to challenge the systems and the corporations.
Yeah.
I had the honor
Yeah.
of hearing Mr. Joel Brown and Katie Cutler speak on what it looks like to be business owners and have people work for you in today's world, and they don't want the same thing. They really care about
Mm,
their mental health and managing their
a
self-care.
hundred
And it's
percent.
100% important that corporations find
Yes.
ways to include that as a norm, not as a you're taking away from
Yes.
production time, but to
Right.
know that that will benefit their productivity as, they work
Yes.
for you. So I think that's a systems change that we need to begin to adopt.
Girl, listen, you said something there because that is absolutely the truth. It's hard for people to understand that when you take care of your people, they will take care
Yes.
of your product. They will take care of your customers. They will take care of your mission. If you take care of them, they will take care of you. But that feels very sort of counterintuitive, and so, there's that. You touched on a couple of little things that are like leading us, breadcrumbs leading us to where you are right
Yes.
now, which is this, first of all, like,
Thank
congratulations.
you.
And so excited and so proud of you for a lot of reasons. So many reasons, but I'm going to say this one is the biggest for starting and finishing right? Because so many of us have things that we start and we don't like, you know what I mean, and we don't
Yeah.
finish, and we never get to see the full manifestation of what that thing could have
Yeah.
been. And you have finished and you're walking in it, and that deserves so much like recognition and kudos and congratulations and high fives and everything. I don't care what happens from this point forward, you are so beyond winning just for that
Oh,
milestone.
I
So
appreciate that.
congratulations to
Thank
you
you.
and being a newly published author.
Mm.
You have written this book
Yes.
around breakup. Now we in February. We in the month of love and relationship and cuffing season and all this stuff. She out here with after
Yeah.
heartbreak. Sometimes it ends with
Yes.
heartbreak. Let's talk about it. Crushed. Crushed. And now and I really want to know about this title.
And you know what? I'm trying. So I knew after my divorce and my journey with that, God kept saying, "You're going to write about it." And I was like, "No, I ain't God." Because one, I like to keep my business my business. Like, I don't want to do that, God.
Yeah.
But then something
Yeah.
just came over me. And I promise you, I went to Christiana Mall. I sat in the food court and I started typing. And like you said, it's a journey because I put it down at one
Yeah.
point. And it was
Yeah.
in the back of my mind, but I just wasn't tackling it. And then I went to Salad Works. I got a thing with places in public. And I went to Salad Works and I kept typing and I kept thinking. And God was speaking to me. And the chapter titles and adding the scriptures in, it was just all coming. And seeing certain movies where I was like, that would be a good aspect to add. It just all came together. And
Yeah.
crushed. Because that was the best way I could describe what I felt like I went through. So it was interesting. I, was married, and then I had my son, Noah. And about 3 months after having him is when I realized, oh, this ship is sinking and it's sinking mighty fast. And
Mm.
so and it wasn't, and I always tell people I don't bash my ex-husband, love him to death. He is the
Yeah.
father of my child, and having that relationship be healthy is extremely important to me. But when you look at the
Extremely.
realness of it, we just weren't compatible anymore. We just,
Yeah.
it wasn't there. And as I said, and I say it in the book, one of the things we often do, and women often do, is blame, 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 and point the finger always the man that did everything wrong. And I had to have an
Mm.
honest, accountable moment with myself and see, well, where didn't you show up as you needed to? Where could
Girl,
you?
say that part again.
Well, it's a chapter in the book. Where could you have self correction? And that was a hard truth to sit with because,
Yeah.
you see yourself as, I got it together, I'm doing this, but oh, I messed up here as well. And
Yeah.
being honest with myself was a growth moment. It was a challenging moment. But I
Mm.
knew that these realizations I was having, a lot of people don't sit and take the time to do. And so
Yeah.
in the book,
Yeah.
it just challenges you in a way to process what you've gone through. So we go through
Yeah.
heartache and we have
Right.
our cortisol levels are we're stressed, we physically feel the pain, we can't eat. I lost so much weight. And I remember in my darkest, it just felt like a dark pit of depression. And
Yeah.
I had this new baby I need to take care of. I don't want to eat. I don't want to talk to anyone because this dream, and I talk about this in the book, we all have a dream that we say, and this is going to
Mm.
happen, and we're going to achieve this together. Then in this year
Yeah.
to be this. And so
Yeah.
here I was at the start of my dream. We had the marriage, we had the house,
Yeah.
we had the kid, and then it all came crashing down. And so the
Yeah.
grief of it all really took me out. And I remember my friends pulled up on me because you always got to have those good sisters.
I always gotta have ride or
Ride or
dies.
die. I did the
Mm.
ugly cry with them, the ugly cry. But it felt good to allow them in that space because a lot of times we
Yeah.
isolate and we don't want to let people in our deepest moments
Right.
when that's who we need. And from there, I said one prayer. I said, God, you gave me this son to take care of. I need you to help me through this so I can be able to do it. And I promise you, it was like a light bulb went off. And the days started getting a tad easier. And I was able to say, okay, girl, we done been through it. We going through it. Let's keep pushing.
But we keep
Yeah.
going. We keep going. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Listen, and I want to stop you right there again. These are the gems. I told y'all. I told y'all. I said she's going to give you some gems, some insight that I know that is going to be magical and life-changing perspective. But I really want to pause and stop you for a second because you're so right. The self-reflection, the accountability is something because we're so focused on how either someone else has wronged us or how the situation feels like it has wronged us or all those things that we're in this sort of like victim
Yep.
state,
Yep.
right? And but that two things can be true more, and let me say more than one thing can be true at the
Yep.
same time. It can be possible that the circumstances suck. It can be possible that this person sucked. I'm not saying in your case, but I'm just saying in
Yeah.
general, right? It could be possible that that person cheated on you, they lied to you, they gaslit you, whatever. They disappoint. All of those things can be
Yeah.
true, and it can also be true that you wasn't your best
Yep.
self, and that being able to recognize that for me, because I had to walk down this too, and I people that like know me, know me. Now I've gotten to the place where I will call myself out so quick. They be like, "Dang!" I'm like, "Yeah, I was goofy. That was stupid. I was ridiculous. My bad, yo." Like it's just because it helps when you can see yourself, the humanity in yourself. I know I'm a good person. I know I have a good
Yeah.
heart, but I mess up. I'm selfish sometimes. I do the wrong
You-
thing. I say the wrong stuff. And if I could see that about myself, honestly, I could see that about
Okay.
you,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, right? And to a place where I can be forgiving and have grace for you, because I can see,
Yeah.
right? I can see that just like I need to be forgiven and I need grace, and I mess up, but I'm still a good person. You can mess up, and you still a good person,
Yes.
and I can forgive you.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head. Grace was the word that God gave me. Because think about it. Jasmine even wrote a whole song about it. The busting windows out of cars. We are so angry. We just want to retaliate, get revenge, everything.
Right.
But God said grace. And so, in those moments where I wanted to say some choice words, in those moments where I wanted to, because this is what we do, if I'm being honest, say, oh, you ain't gonna see your child, like you use your child as a pawn and stuff. I was
Mm,
like, no, whoa, no, can't do that. That's just ugly. And I
yeah.
gave grace. And when I say it was
Yeah.
defining, because a lot of people around me were like, why are you being so kind? Why are you giving grace? Why are you doing? And I was like, because it's the right thing to do.
It's
And
the
it
right thing
made
to do.
such a key difference in how we're able to show up around each other and engage and
Right.
co-parent. It made such the
Right.
difference.
Right. Right. Oh my God. You are just, girl, listen. And it's so good to see you on this side of things, right? Where you're glowing and you're beautiful and you're smiling and you're happy and you're doing amazing things. And but all of that comes from forgiveness and release and letting things go and being able to, and allowing those moments of grace and love and forgiveness and accountability to transform you into something beautiful instead of staying in bitterness and hurt and resentment and chaos and drama and tension and all of those things. Got your face all turned up like, girl, guy, look, this ain't just to women, this men
Yeah.
too. Figure out how to let it go so that you can get onto the other side of things and start. Listen, because we all trying to have our skin looking amazing.
And I love that you said forgiveness. So the book includes like stories of which I'm telling my
Yeah.
truth and what I realized, and then activities to go through. And one of the biggest thing was being able to forgive myself. And I think, and when I'm
Mm.
working with clients one on one, the question I tend to ask is, what do you need to forgive yourself for? And was your partner actually the right person for you? Because a lot of times,
Mm.
if you think about it, well, I know for myself, before I even met my husband, I was in unhealthy relationships. And so, and
Yeah.
it's funny, the quote in the beginning of the book is from my grandmom. She's 91. And she said, you're a beautiful girl, but your picker is broke. And so I was picking from a broken place because
Yeah.
I saw well,
That's
this is
good.
just looking a little bit better than that last situation. But really, it wasn't what I needed based on who I was. I was picking from a broken
Yeah.
place, and that's never going to be a good formula.
Right.
And a lot
Right.
of times we get into relationships knowing we saw some red flags, purple flag, whatever flag you want to call it, that we should have took a step back and said, you're a great person, but are you who I need for my life? And
Right.
so the book
Right.
really helps to process that, dissect that, and a lot of other things that we need to sit with to really heal.
I love that the book is not just hearing stories or hearing your journey, but that there's action
Oh,
items. There
yes.
are things,
That's the
right, for you
therapist in
to
me.
do to come on, because and I'm saying that because even when so I deal like in the leadership space and strategic planning and things like that, and people always want to get from here to here, but they ain't got no action steps, and I'm like, and you can't figure out why you ain't achieving the goal. You don't. You're not doing that. Like you're not actually doing anything
Hmm.
but dreaming
Yes.
or talking about it, right? So I'm glad that you are actually giving steps, things to put into the toolbox so that people can actually start to take moves to get to where they want to be, which is ultimately healing and joy and healthiness and all the stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to ask you this, okay? Because you talk about picking from a broken
Hmm.
place. You talk about the what that has resulted in, right? Are you going through a divorce and everything that looks like that? And now you're on the other side and you're in a much healthier space. I actually have two questions, right? One, I want to know if you dating, if you're outside, and the other thing that I want to know, look, because I'm nosy, because I'm nosy. But the other thing that I want to ask you in regards to that is, um, it's also difficult to be healthy when you've been unhealthy for so long,
Yes.
right? You don't know
Correct.
how to be healthy.
Correct.
And so you get on this other side and being healthy is scary. I know that like, again for myself, I'm like, I'm used to toxic. It may not be good, but I'm used to it and I know what I'm going to get.
Yes.
Healthy is an experience I haven't had. And even though I'm saying I want it, and then I get here and then I actually get into a relationship that is healthy or I get into, and I'm like, Lord, I ain't never
What is
been here,
this?
Jesus. What is this? What what you mean I ain't got to fight you for everything? Like what?
Yeah.
I don't know how to do
Yeah.
that. So I mean, just can you speak to that a little bit, like what that's
Yeah.
looking like?
So I am dating and I am discovering things once again about myself
How?
and even areas where I still clearly need to work on. But I remember, well, my prayer is always the one where God, if this isn't the person, remove them every
Yeah.
single time. But and also recognizing what I need to change. So I've noticed some things come up where I was like, that feels mighty familiar, but that's me and how I'm showing up. And sometimes you
Mm,
have to be able to recognize, okay, there's still some unhealthy components of, and the
yeah.
difference is since I've done the work, I can recognize it a lot quicker and make a change action and difference for myself. And then, like you said, yeah, the toxicness that comes about. I don't know if like we've been programmed from reality TV or it's something that has dropped something in our brains where we just love the
Yeah.
drama and feed off of it. And it's actually not healthy. And so just channeling in when those moments come up has been interesting. But yes, I am dating. I'm learning who I am and who I want and, waiting to see who God fully has for me.
Okay. I listen, and we all can't wait to see. Look, on the edge of our seat, just bated breath, like, all right, Lord.
Who is it?
Who is it? I too am divorced, and I actually have an amazing relationship with my ex-husband. He is one of my best
Yeah.
friends. And that journey. So first of all, it is
Mhm,
possible,
mhm.
right? It is possible when both parties are absolutely focused on the good, love, healing, the good in this person. Maybe it didn't
Yeah,
work out, but that didn't mean that they're not a good
yeah,
person. It doesn't mean that there's not redeeming qualities. It doesn't mean that we can't figure out how to develop a relationship That may not be that
Yeah.
relationship, but it's this relationship, and this one has
Yeah.
value. And so he has been just an absolute blessing in my life. And I am so very thankful for that process and for what we've been able to turn this into. But again, I think it goes just back to this place of just being intentional
Mhm.
about wanting to be healed. Like, you know what I
Yep.
mean? So, one of the things that we really focus on here at Just a Thought is about how everything starts with a
Mhm.
thought. And, behaviors just ain't coming out
Yep.
of nowhere. You think it's
Yes.
something first, right? And so that the thought has to come into your mind. I want healthy.
Yes.
I want peace. I want, right? And then that begins to foster those actions that kind of go from there. Talk, if you had one, right? One takeaway, or, and I know you have many, but like, I'm going to do more than that. Cause I know you, when we people say one, you be like, "Ah, okay, three, top three."
Okay.
Someone right now is in the middle of heartbreak. Someone right now is in the middle of being crushed, right? What are those three top things of thoughts that you would have them think that could then begin to usher them into a new space, their healing, their growth, the next
Mm.
chapter?
And it's funny because I could have did the one because
Well, then, okay, listen, I was trying to be generous.
because for me it always goes to the love of God. And
Mm,
it's it because I in the therapeutic world I always have to kind of tread lightly, based on everybody's different beliefs, and of course I respect it all. But
yeah.
as for me and my house, and for what I stand for, and who
Come
has
on.
been the
Come
keeper
on.
of all things,
Come on.
God's love for me. And it was funny. I heard a quote from when Maya Angelou was on Oprah, and she just said, "God loves me," and she kept saying, "God loves me." And it hit her. This is the person who made the trees, the rivers, and he loves me. And so once
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
realize that abundance of love that's so forgiving, that sees you, that is with you in your darkest moments, it's like once you realize and tune into the fact that I'm that special, and when it comes to relationships, you ought to be mimicking God love in some sort of light,
Yeah.
it shines a whole
Yeah.
different perspective on it. And so in the book, in the back. And my friend, she loves this part. The last chapter is Who Am I? And I got this from the movie Overcomer. And she had the young lady go through Ephesians and write out who God says we are. And so the
Yeah.
back of the book, I break it down. And the one is I am faithful, I am chosen. And I think once you understand God's love for you and how he sees you and how just wonderful and powerful you are, that
Yeah.
begins
Yeah.
to create a healing in your heart of, so if God sees me like this and he loves me like this, why would I settle and be boo-hooing and torn apart over someone who couldn't see me and honor me? And
Right.
so having that reflection and that eye-opening moment is to me the key to that transformation. Once you can really sit
Yeah.
and get that, then you can start your journey and do all the tasks in the book and the work. We do prayer boards, everything in the book. That really
All
gets
of the
it.
stuff.
Yes.
How does your ex-husband feel about the book?
No, if he's read it, I know he probably know about it because he just be knowing. But I don't know if he's read it. I haven't asked him. No,
Okay. Okay. Well, look, I, I feel like I want you to ask it because again, I'm nosy.
he's such
That's
a
what I
nonchalant person. He'd be like, "Good for you." He was how our sales go,
That's
and that's what
good.
he would be focused on.
That's good. That's good. Here's another question. And look, and some of these things I know I'm asking, and it's just like it wasn't even in my
Okay,
notes. I'm asking, so I feel like somebody out there is
cool.
questioning or is going to have this question,
Yeah.
right? And so while I have you as a captive audience, I'm getting all the stuff from you. Going through a breakup can produce real loneliness. And I know you have some things to say about that. And loneliness can make you do some funny things.
Yes. And so my loneliness season came and it was interesting. So I would work, come home, and it would just be me and my son. And I just
Mm-hmm.
felt this overwhelming emptiness and like, it's just us. And he couldn't really
Yeah.
talk then. So it wasn't like he was giving much energy. But I just remember like, I am lonely and I want that companionship. However, I am a big teacher. You need a good amount of time after you break up with someone to just be with yourself. And so I wasn't going to feel that phase
Girl.
with temporary relief and temporary people to talk to. I said, no, you're not ready. You are not ready. So I wasn't on no apps. I wasn't outside. I was just sitting in that loneliness and experiencing it and making it do. It really gave me a time to rediscover who I am, what I like, what feeds me, and not put that temporary band aid on it and to sit in the pain.
That is so good. And listen, and did you die? And you didn't
I
die.
didn't. I didn't. I didn't. And it helped me to reconnect with other people that I may not connect. And it helps
Right.
me to say, hey, I need you guys. Like, I'm lonely and I'm
Oh,
bored. And I felt like I was just it just felt like the same thing every day. And then at the end of the day, it's just us
yeah.
two. And it was an incredibly lonely space, but it was a space of growth as well that was needed to
Yeah.
become who I am today.
Who you are today. That's so good. That's so good. I feel like there's a couple of people out here, maybe one or two, that are going to need to take just that little clip and run it on replay.
Wasn't it?
Just run it on replay. And it's okay. Just run it on replay to remind yourself it's okay to sit in the
Yes.
pain. It's okay to process. It's necessary. Oh my goodness. I cannot even begin to tell you how many friends and people that I have watched. And listen, I'm not even going to look, here I go. I'm going to call myself. I did it too, where you get lonely or you get whatever and you're like, well, and you just go back to what you
Yes.
know. It's not, and it's like, and then you just started this process all over again. And
Yes.
that's what I really realized. I was like, now I done took all these steps and was feeling
Yeah.
good and then did the thing that put me right back at the beginning. And now I got
Now I
to
gotta
start doing
start
this all
over.
over again. I'm like, oh my God. If you
It's
listen,
that cycle.
just stop
It's that cycle that we don't
being your
even
own out.
notice. Yeah. Yeah.
It is a, you're right. It is a cycle. It is 1000% a cycle. And we gotta like break it.
Yep.
Stop. Break the
Yep.
cycle. Stop the
Yep. You
madness.
gotta be comfortable with the discomfort and loneliness. And
Oh my
people are so
goodness. Girl,
terrified. It's
listen.
so funny. We sit in session and I'm like, all right, here's the game plan. This is what's really gonna help you 2 weeks later. Well, I met someone. I'm like, that was what we discussed. That's not it.
Don't be talking about God did this. You did this. It's been 2 minutes. You barely got your furniture out this house. Are you talking about?
I don't want that for us. I don't want that for us.
Look, put it down.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
That is so good. That is so good. So I asked you about the title, and I'm going to tell you why I asked you about the title. Because when I heard it, what immediately came to mind was biblical,
Okay.
right, from the Bible, and crushing of olives in order to get the
Yes.
oil. And so that's what I
That.
heard
Oh.
when I that this has
Yeah.
crushed you, not right, crushed you not as in like to beat you down, but crushing as in to bring out the oil, to bring out the anointing, to bring
Oh.
out the goodness in
Oh.
you.
Wait.
That's what I
Y'all heard it
heard.
now because I'm stealing that. But just know I'm always give credit to all of them when I'm saying it. I
That's what
love
I heard.
that.
I said, okay, she on to something. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Thank you for all the
yeah.
credit you gave me. Appreciate it.
Well, if nothing else, you know how it's making others feel.
Yeah.
So there's that.
And the interesting, so there's been some secondary kind of things that have come about, what you just said. And then a lot of people see the book and think it's for people who just went through a breakup. But I have people
Mm,
who are currently in marriages read it and they're like, whoa, I did not
that's good.
know that I hadn't healed from this, or that this is still a
Ooh,
thing for me. And I'm like,
yeah,
didn't know that was going to touch you that way either, but it makes sense because a lot of times we skip over our healing process and jump into something
right.
else. But even if you're in a marriage, you can go through this, do the work so that you can be healthy
Yeah.
in the current.
Right, right. And watch how things begin to blossom and grow and bloom right where you're
Yes.
planted. And that's the thing. We should always be in a space of continuously trying to grow, heal, progress, move, learn, understand. Just, that's always a process. So that's so good. That's so good. And this is such a blessing. I am like, again, when I said I was anticipating and I knew that you was not going to disappoint, you have exceeded my
Oh,
expectations,
yay.
madam.
I'm happy about that.
You have exceeded my expectations. And everyone that she said, whether you married, whether you single, whether you went through a breakup, whether want not in a relationship ever at all, but are going at some point, the breakups may
Yeah.
come, right? It's just life. These are good things and tools to learn and to have ready so that if and when it ever happens or if it has happened, you are prepared. And here's the other thing too. Sometimes we need information not for ourselves, but for those around us.
Correct. Correct. Absolutely.
You know?
Look out for your
Yeah.
friends.
Because even if it's not us going through a breakup, somebody we know
Could.
going through
Yeah. And
one.
you got to guide them in a different way than go bust his windows out of
Yeah.
his car.
Please don't let that be the advice. Because they taking people to jail. Let's not let that be the
Now, when
advice.
I see certain videos with unhealthy relationship stuff on social media, I just post the book link right in the caption.
I love that. Well, listen. So we're gonna end with two. We coming to the end.
Okay.
I'm gonna end with two final
Okay.
questions. But I wanna let everybody know that the look in the captions. We are definitely going to be posting where you can find this book. I know it's gonna be an absolute blessing for you, for somebody you know. Sometimes we be listening to stuff, be like, "Ooh, listen, so and so need this." That's okay. That's true. So and so do need it. Go ahead and buy them a copy. Be a blessing
Yes.
today. You are blessed to be a blessing. So we will definitely make sure that we take care of that. The two things that I want to ask you about is that anytime people are doing something new, right? Support is so necessary. Support, and you talked about how important it was in the very beginning of you just in your practice. What does support look like for you in this space? How can the people who are around you be supportive? What does that look like?
My biggest dream for the book is to, of course, get it to the masses. I don't know everyone. I mean, I don't. But there are a lot of people who this book was clearly, God told me, there are people out there who
Yeah.
need it and it is written for. And so it was funny. I made a video cracking a joke about Delmarva Power's delivery charge, and I got 26,000 views. But when I post about the book, not so much because people love the funny
Yeah.
drama. But to share
Yeah.
out what can actually heal people and help people would
Mm,
be so, so powerful, just so that we can have people who can love again and not as many people in
yeah.
our world hurting or going through depression and silence or unfortunately
Yeah.
in some cases taking their lives because everything has come too much. And so I
Yeah.
know this book has a healing component. And so just sharing it
Yeah.
out and letting people know, playing telephone, whatever we got to do to get it out would
Yeah.
be awesome. And just any opportunities, I'm welcome. I'm open to go, do workshops, speak, everything. You just tell me.
All right, listen, y'all heard it. Y'all heard it. That's what support looks like. She said, buy the book. Buy the book. Buy the book. Talk about it. Share it. Book her. Invite her to come and join to be a part of the conversation. Get her in the room. It's going to be a blessing when people are in the room and conversations are happening,
Yes.
just like right now, right? Like you don't know who needs to hear what when, but God does.
Yes.
And as long as we are being a part of that equation, we are a part of the big plan. And so I love
Yeah.
that. All right, final
Okay.
question. Final
Yes.
question. And I ask this of every single
Yes.
guest, of all the advice that you have ever received, right? And this is interesting. This is the first time I'm asking a therapist this. So
Mm.
so I can't wait to hear
I-
this. Of all the advice you have ever received,
Yeah.
right? which piece of advice was the most life-changing for you?
To put God first in your life. It's like a no-brainer. I don't have anything so philosophical and so like deep, and no. He is literally the answer and the key. If I had more time, I would tell the stories about what happened in that experience when I went to Oxon Hill, but maybe I'll have to come back. But literally every time I ask, he answers. Every time I need guidance, he's there. And we live in a world where we want answers. We want to know what's next
Yeah.
for us. And
Yeah.
so it isn't anything man then told me. It's that relationship with God that has just been the saving grace and key to the LaVantė you see before you today.
Okay, say it again. Say it again. What was the most
You have to
important?
put the Lord first,
Like,
okay? Put God first. Talk to him.
there it
Spend
is.
time with him. Hang out with him. Go on a date with him. I don't know. Whatever you need to do.
All of
All
that.
of it.
All of that. That's it. Listen, I don't really know where to go from there. That's it. That's all there's nothing left to say. There's nothing left to say. There's no follow-up to
No.
that. Thank you so much for
Thank
being here
you.
today. You have been an absolute joy. I appreciate every interaction and every moment that we spend. Like I said, your spirit is just so infectious. I'm so proud of you and
Thank you.
excited to see what you're doing and where you're going. And I just know that you are so blessed, and it's to be a blessing.
Yes.
Y'all have been blessed by her. I have been blessed by her. Y'all have an amazing week. Go get this
Go get
book
it.
today, right now. Do it. You need it. Somebody you know need it. Do it. All right, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.